Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has forced top DNC officials into turmoil. They don't know how to rebound from a crushing loss where President Trump won the popular vote, every battleground state, kept the House, won the Senate, obviously as the Supreme Court, and of course the presidency. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. I want you to hear this. Take a trip down memory lane for a second. Oh, we can just look at this. In Detroit, Biden vows to stay in the contest. This is the most popular candidate of all time, by the way. Listen to this really quickly, and we'll get to exactly how President Trump completely obliterated politically the Democratic Party. He did worse than what Jimmy Carter did 12 years after Jimmy Carter until Bill Clinton, with 8 years of Reagan and 4 years of Bush. The same thing, I think, will take place. Hit subscribe.
Folks, you probably noticed there's a lot of speculation lately. What's Joe Biden going to do? Is he going to stay in the race? Is he going to drop out? Here's my answer. I am running, and we're going to win. I'm not going to change that. In fact, just today, the Marist poll released a national poll that has me beating Trump 50 to 48. I don't know all those drop-offs that took place. There's so much of my narrative, my campaign has fallen apart, they say. I'm the nominee of the Democratic Party, the only Democrat or Republican who has beaten Donald Trump ever. And I'm going to beat him again. I know him. Donald Trump is a loser.
So the Democrats went from Biden as the most popular candidate of all time after having cheated Bernie Sanders in 2016. He won his primary, Biden. They went from this type of performance art where you have, this is a theatrical performance where obviously the people yelling and cheering couldn't possibly have gone from this boisterous and enthusiastic and passionate support of Biden to the exact same support and even more for Harris, right? There has to be, the Democrats in their apoplectic quest to take down Trump, which really is still only about acquiring political power. It's not about, so you can go back really quickly and we'll get to exactly what's going on, also the Democratic Party. But here, Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign as DNC chair. This is 2016. You have, little less than 10 years ago, the DNC chairwoman resigning in disgrace. Emails, of course, that showed that Democrats cheated Bernie Sanders. That's why the DNC chairwoman resigned. Fast forward to Biden. He then says he's going to stay in the presidential contest after he had been the most popular candidate to ever win in a presidential contest. Okay, that's why a great many people around the country agree with Trump that, there's no way he lost fair and square for a little over 4 years ago. How could you lose that much political will and momentum and popularity in less than 4 years, especially just with George Clooney and Hollywood and others leading the charge after one debate nationally? Okay, we'll get to how President Trump completely destroyed the Democratic Party for about 12 years, I think, the next 12 years. But then you get to Joe Biden in these very orchestrated, theatrical performances. It's like these pep rallies that were organized with people yelling and cheering and giving such support, and then of course for them to be for Harris to then usurp this man who, is everyone cheering? Are they that supportive of Biden, or is it just the typical political machine, utilizing media, public relations, every single advantage they have, late night talk shows, comedians. It's a public relations monstrosity. Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, The Atlantic, Daily Beast, about 12 other publications, Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, Esquire, you name it. They have an entire monstrosity. How did they go from Biden to Harris to now David Hogg primarying incumbents in safe blue regions of the country? Because they don't stand for anything. That's why. Hit subscribe if you're new. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I was the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. You can read my writing at hagoodman.com. When I was a lifelong Democrat and then whatever, left, progressive, whatever that even means, it doesn't mean anything. I always thought that ending wars was the most important policy objective, the most important principle to have. President Trump wants to end never-ending military conflict. I always thought that, and he is known as the anti-war candidate. The Democrats have Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney and others, everyone who wants to push for endless military conflict, voting for them. That's one of the foundations of how you go from Bernie Sanders in 2016 to President Donald Trump. You want to end endless military conflict, especially a nuclear confrontation with the former Soviet Union, if you want to put it in those terms. But just really quickly, and then there's other reasons too. I wrote in the Federalist how you go from Bernie Sanders to Trump. It's primarily foreign policy, but look what President Trump did in his first term. We had record low poverty, record highs in household median income. Mortgage rates doubled under Biden, and Biden prices rose over 20% in Biden's tenure without the apoplectic hysteria of media. But are Democrats running on removing the $160 billion in savings from Doge? Are Democrats running on single-payer health care? Are they running on implementing and reviving the programs or the departments in government that Doge and Musk and Trump have slashed? What are they running on? Well, I have no clue what they're running on. What do they stand for? Are they going to amend existing immigration laws? Listen to this. No, they're not. Trump wants to enforce immigration laws. Getting back to the economic policy, President Trump wants to bring back manufacturing, which is why the tariffs were a negotiating tool, much needed negotiating tool, to promote manufacturing within the United States of America, in addition to other reasons for the tariffs. But he wants to promote manufacturing to help the same working class Democrats claim to care about. Let's listen to this.
Rock bottom. Only 25% of Democrats say they are confident in their party's leaders in Congress, making it their worst polling result in over 2 decades. And now Congressman James Clyburn is blaming the media for their dumpster fire numbers.
I think the message coming from the Democratic Party is a good message. The problem we've got, Alice, is that we have to depend upon the media to deliver it.
That comes as James Carville clashes with DNC Vice Chair David Hogg over Hogg's $20 million campaign to boot ineffective incumbents.
He's a contemptible little twerp.
Carville believes in a politics of being timid, of hiding. I believe in fighting.
It's the most insane thing. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, antiquated. I'm not part of the hip generation. I'm not very au courant. But I actually thought our job was to beat Republicans. How quaint of me.
James Carville has not won an election since before I was born. I think it's time to have new leaders in our party.
Okay.
So when I was on the left, I thought that Democrats wanted to end wars, focus on alleviating poverty, and I thought that they actually believed in being the antithesis of what they are now. Democrats promoted censorship. They cheat their candidates. They are the party, the most militant political party. They don't do anything to promote the middle class or promote manufacturing or alleviate poverty. With President Trump, we had record low poverty, record highs in household median income. He did everything possible to end or to mitigate or stop global quagmires. In terms of foreign policy and economic policy, part of the economic policy is enforcing existing immigration laws, which, by the way, Bernie Sanders wanted to do. There are a great many correlations between 2016 Bernie Sanders and President Trump. But President Trump actually does what he says. That's the difference. Republicans never do. The old school Republicans are just a party of war who never really did what they never wanted to enforce immigration laws in the same way President Trump does, to also protect the U.S. economy and help the middle class or working class the Democrats claim to care about. Has nothing to do with going after a certain group of individuals. Trump loves immigration or immigrants. He just wants to enforce existing immigration laws. But what do Democrats stand for? Do they want to do they want to run on reviving policies that Doge cut? No. Do they want single payer? No. What do they want? What kind of foreign policy do they want? President Trump wants to limit never-ending wars. What is it that Democrats want? Trump wants to end wars, boost the middle class, and protect the country in a whole bunch of other ways. What do Democrats want, aside from ruining Trump and disowning friends and family that disagree with them? Hit subscribe to this channel. Trump has completely obliterated politically the Democratic Party. I don't see them rebounding at all, especially it's a political machine. If they want to reform the political machine, they should probably reform it around policies but they don't have any policies that are popular. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Thank you.